So what's up, y'all? So I wanted to upload this video yesterday, but it ended up deleting and kicking me out the app. Everybody talking about the app is glitching because of it's about to shut down soon. That don't make any sense to me. Like that's not gonna cause an app to glitch. You know, when it's ready to be shut down, then it'll be shut down and everybody be canceled out of the app. But didn't they say the same thing for Facebook? But that's besides the point. But So I wanted to get on here and talk about the topic of relationships because there's a lot of people talking about relationships right now. It's like it seems to be the biggest topic right now, and I just wanted to say like I'm starting to notice like people act as though they're low in communication skills, meaning they don't know how to, which I don't feel like is true, but they act as though they don't know how to communicate with people and or resolve their issues. I refuse to believe that you went through 10 to 20 different people and you still, as an adult, lack the ability to gain some type of maturity with yourself and or inner work being done within yourself to resolve issues that you have recurring with yourself, or even if it comes to how you interact with other individuals. Now, it's a lot of individuals going over the fact of it's men that want submissive women, but you have to get what comes along with that. The respect and acknowledgement of the fact that for the longest time, females have not been able to come into a room and get certain jobs or even be taken seriously, have their voices heard. And there were groups of women that had to fight for those rights. If there were men in the background, they had to take a back seat into fighting for the rights for it to even have it where, women were even within their own marriages were taken into consideration on how they want to do things, even on a legal level. They would always revert back to, oh, well, did you ask your husband? Did you ask your husband? And not to say that all men were abusive, but it got to a point to where it was being abused in many ways, and a lot of females don't want to revert back to that because that was a very dark time for females. Now, when you talk about a lot of the ways in which individuals go about having these conversations can be very inflammatory, especially when you set up a certain platform and you use it for clickbait just so you can be seen by a lot of people and amp drama. But then at the same time, this is affecting people's viewpoints and how they react with people. The fact that they think that it's okay to keep acting this way towards people in their everyday lives, even off the app. It's a lot of individuals that say, oh, well, this isn't real life. Yeah, you're interacting with real people. It's a lot of people who do the phone dating or the internet dating, or even if you talk about actually picking up people at speed dating, if you're going out and being linked up with somebody that you did not know. I mean, these are real people and they're talking about real experiences in their real lives. So I don't see how that is meant to be overlooked. I don't agree with men seeming as though they have a problem with women to the point to where they're back. Women seeming as though they have a problem with men and they're bashing them just to find some sense of comfortability in their lives, when again it's not all grouped up. Like it's not like people work on the same wavelength like they don't all have the same thought processing. So there's never an instances to where I'm going to have a relationship with a guy and have one bad experience and then take it out on the next guy, or have a experience with somebody based upon their gender or their skin color and then say it for everybody else. You have to remember that there are different groups socially, or there are different type of women, just as well as there are different type of men out there in the way that they think or the way that they react, and this all comes out within your communication when you actually sit down and take the time to get to know someone, which a lot of individuals are not doing. They're just regurgitating what they heard based on the fact that, again, a lot of individuals are still stuck in the mentality of people pleasing, um, or peer pressure. And it's crazy because you give people that grace period as kids, to where people had that mentality of, oh, I gotta go along with the group to be accepted, even if you found it to be the wrong things. But I mean, you still do it as an adult instead of maturing and aging out of it. Why is that? And then it is gone to the point of where it starts to affect your relationships with people, how you build relationships, or the connections that you make. And not only that, now you're spewing this on the internet, and the effects of how it affects somebody else in their everyday to day life when they encounter different people. Because again, you can't act as though this app has gone to places in the world to where it reaches people from one end of the world to the next. That's the only thing that's different from back in the day to now, is it's easier to connect with somebody very, very, very far away. I don't think anyone should just assume based off a small group of people and react on it in their lives. It's a lot of individuals like to give advice, but the questioning of if it's good advice. And you have to be careful because, again, you just saying this for, relationship status is easy. People like to argue the fact that men from back in the day was different than men nowadays, but where to the point where not only were you working a job, you will build a house up on your own, and all of that stuff. But at the same time, there is a lot of flaws in how things used to be done back in the day, that you just kept hush hush, like a lot of abusive stuff from back in the day that people did not talk about. And that is within all ethnicities. It's not just some. It's all within all ethnicities. And it's like you're doing away with all the work that individuals have done to better their situations. Like, you're doing away with it all, and I don't think that's right. And it also makes it dangerous for you to be a female and you're out here. Men seem to be and are physically, naturally stronger than women. Like, what are the things that you actually think that some females face when they are encountering new men and you're expecting them to do it on a day-to-day basis, and you don't want to be caught up with or in a situation that makes you unsafe. Like, you have to take all of those things into consideration, but we know we have to still take it into consideration for men as well too, because again, to dismiss and act like men don't go through now points within trying to make those connects with people is just like not realistic. But yeah, no, I think that's my biggest stance on the situation. Take consideration for what others go through. Get to actually know people and do your own internal work, and get to know yourself and figure out what it is that you're going through, to where, these things keep becoming a reoccurring problem for you before you invest in a relationship. That's a problem with a lot of individuals. They're hopping in and out of relationships they don't see themselves being in for long term. If it's just for fun, you know, if it's just for the moment, say that. I mean, at this point, you're grown, you know what you want, but don't regurgitate a echo chamber and then project your problems that you keep having within your experiences with someone when again you're not actually doing and putting forth any real effort. You just regurgitated something that you heard somebody say based upon their experience, and you're not even really seeing that it's really not even based upon your experience at this point, you know. And again, this is why some of the time it's like trying to fit a puzzle piece into a slot that don't work. You keep trying to make this person's situation work for your situation, and your situation is totally different, and you're dealing with a different individual instead of finding something that works for you. And so it is becoming a reoccurring problem. And yeah, so it's just that's my biggest thing. Just do the work. If you're not gonna do the work, if it's just fun for the moment, do that. But at the same time, don't think that everything that you hear on this app is for everybody, because I hear a lot of stances thrown around on a day-to-day basis of what type of female black women are, and it's not correct for me. A lot of it is not correct for me. So yeah, just especially if you coming from somewhere that's completely foreign, and you even based upon social media and what you see put in music and all of that, a lot of the females that I know don't act like that. A lot of the men that I know don't act like that. Like, you have very smart and well-rounded individuals that like to put the work in on their lives and who they interact with and how they're being treated. Like, no, that's not for everybody. So that's just my biggest thing. All right, bye, y'all.